clicked for me. I was just like, that alone is enough to give this fucking movie an Oscar. Like, Jordan Peele's so goddamn brilliant. I can't. Hey YouTube gang, how y'all doing? Only Black Girl here, checking in. Hey. So as promised, I'm gonna do my second part of the Us film review. This is going to be 100% with spoilers. Okay, so if you haven't seen the movie, don't watch this yet. I don't want to hear nobody complaining about, oh my god, you spoiled this shit. Bitch, you've been warned. Okay? There's going to be spoilers in this video. If you want my review on it without spoilers, go watch the video. I'll put it down in the description link, but I did do another video previously this week that was just kind of my overall review with no spoilers. We're just going to dive right on into this shit because I have a lot to talk about and I don't want this video to be 730,000 minutes long. So once again, I'm going to warn y'all one more time. There are going to be spoilers, okay? Go watch the movie and then come back and then we can all have a conversation about all this shit that happened, okay? Well, I want to start with the main character, Lupita Adelaide / Red. Bitch. First of all, like I said in the original review that I did, this movie is 100% Lupita. Lupita does such a fucking good job in this movie. It's mind-blowing. She needs every Oscar, Emmy, Tony, Grammy. It don't even matter that none of those awards apply, but she needs it because she does such a fucking good job. The twist at the end, we find out that Adelaide and Red actually switch and the one that's above is actually the doppelganger. Woo, crazy. So the first time I watched it, I did not actually pick this up. I picked up on a lot of the clues, but I didn't really like register and put it together until right before they show the full flashback scene. I picked it up when she kills the real Adelaide and she starts doing that thing that all the doppelgangers do because they can't talk. That's when I picked it up. I was like, oh bitch, she's speaking their language. Oh. I did pick up on a lot of the clues before then. I just didn't really like put it all together and like, oh bitch, this is a doppelganger. So some of the clues, when I went back and watched it a second time, I picked up a lot more. But one of the clues that have been bothering me since the fucking trailer come out was the snapping on the 1 and 3 when they put on the I got 5 on it and she's like catch the beat or whatever and she's snapping on the 1 and 3. That has been bothering me since the trailer. And now I finally figured out why. It's because she is the doppelganger, right? So everything that they do is inverse to the real person. So the upside down or the inverse of the 2 and 4 is the 1 and 3. So it makes sense why she would be doing that. What I didn't really understand is why the hell nobody in the family was looking at her like, bitch, you off beat. Like you and a whole family of black people. Nobody was like, mama, ma'am, you're off beat. Everyone was just like, yeah, let's go. No. Speaking in grunting, I definitely picked up on the one that I didn't pick up on until the second time is when she kills the twin in the beach house. I completely missed that part. And this is going to go into my discussion about Jason. But anyway, when she kills the twin in the beach house, she also does that really weird like grunt thing and she's like all hunched over doing like that weird movement that they do, and then as soon as Jason comes in and she sees him, she snaps back into like her quote-unquote normal human self. So that was another thing I picked up on. And I only partially picked up on, but I didn't actually really understand until I listened to the podcast Black Man Can't Jump in Hollywood, is the whistling. Oh my god, this is like, Jordan Peele is so fucking brilliant. So y'all remember the first time she starts whistling in the very beginning, she gets stuck in the house of mirrors and she's whistling the Itsy Bitsy Spider. First of all, when I was watching it, I was like, why the fuck is she whistling in this creepy ass place? The only explanation that I could come up with is that she was kind of trying to use the whistle and the echo that it makes to find the opening, right? To find the places that isn't a mirror. Because of, you know, the way sounds work and shit. You know, she starts whistling and then she hears Red whistling back. But what I didn't pick up on is that Red is whistling the Itsy Bitsy Spider in reverse. This is fucking genius. When I went back and watched it a second time, I was like, holy shit. This is a huge clue to the twist at the end, because if you remember The whistling kind of happens throughout the movie, and whoever is whistling, depending on which way they're whistling the itsy bitsy spider, it tells you who it is. So if you remember, when the family first shows up to the house to attack the human family, and they're banging on the door, and Red walks up to get the hide key out. She's whistling the itsy bitsy spider, but she's whistling it the right way. She's whistling it the right way because she's the real Red. If it had been the doppelganger, it would have been reversed. And then again, she does it at the end, you know, when she's dying, it's just, which is creepy as shit. That clicked for me. I was just like, that alone is enough to give this fucking movie an Oscar. Like, Jordan Peele's so goddamn brilliant. I can't. Moving on to the next category, Jason. Okay. Jason is a huge part of this movie. Kind of feel like he's almost the co-lead of this movie because he's really important to the story. But there are so many things about him that is really odd that I can't quite put my finger on. Now, I've been reading a lot of different theories and stuff online, and the theory that I keep seeing coming up is that Jason was switched at some point. I don't believe this for several reasons. The theories that I've been reading, their theory is basically that Jason was switched the year before this takes place, because that year there was a fire on the house burned down, whatever, and that's when the tether came in and switched. People are saying like the evidence about this is like he was digging tunnels instead of a sandcastle. The family's noticing he's picking up other vocabulary that he hadn't previously used, like little stuff like that. To me, this theory makes zero sense because number one, the biggest problem with this theory to me is the tether can't speak. Right? They can't speak at all. That's been established that the only person who can speak is Red because she's an actual human being. The tether can't speak. And the whole point of all those flashbacks and stuff was that Adelaide couldn't speak until they put her in the arts and she learned to speak. But that took several years. So you're telling me that Jason was switched 1 year ago and then all of a sudden he comes back with an above average vocabulary? I'm not buying that. Secondly, how the hell would he have been switched? The whole thing that we got at the beginning of the movie was about all the tunnels and the abandoned things underground. How would they have magically come up to their house, switched them, and then brought them back down with nobody noticed? And in order for that to be true, there would have to be a portal in the house to the underground that they could just walk up and switch them. And if they were going to do that, why would they take Jason? Why would they not go back and swap out Red and Adelaide or take the whole family and switch back? If they could just pop up in people's houses and switch, why wouldn't they just do that instead of this whole Hands Across America thing? That doesn't make any sense. This whole theory that he was switched doesn't make any sense. I think, and what I think have slipped people's mind about this movie is the kids are half doppelganger. I don't think people remember that. You guys have to realize that Adelaide is not the real person, right? They are born without souls because they're clones. So those kids are really only half human. They're only half of them real selves and they're half doppelgangers. So I think that Jason is just fucking weird because he's half doppelganger. Zora makes a comment at the beach when the white twins are like, your brother is so weird. And she was like, he's not weird, he just has trouble focusing. That could also play into it. That I will say is strange about Jason is the relationship between him and Adelaide on both sides. They both have a really weird, kind of stronger connection to Jason than they do Zora. Zora and Winston Duke, or Gabe, I think is his name in this movie, they're kind of irrelevant in this story. But there's a lot closer attention paid to Jason by the mothers on both sides. Like, for example, when they first arrive at the house and she gives her little speech about once upon a time, and then she starts to go and they all take off, right? When it comes down to Jason, all of a sudden Adelaide is like super protective. No, you're not going to take him. You're not going to do this, blah, 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 blah. But she wasn't doing that with Zora, right? She didn't care. She was just like, bitch, run. And the same thing happens on the other side when he gets stuck in the closet. All of a sudden, she's out to go get her baby boy, right? She didn't give a fuck about leaving the daughter behind to get ran over by an SUV, bitch. She don't care. So there's a weird connection between them that I can't figure out. But because it's on both sides, I don't really think the theory that he was switched holds up because both of them have a really weird connection to Jason. As far as the rest of the characters, kind of like I said, Gabe and Zora don't really have huge parts in this movie, which I'm okay with. both of them did a fantastic job acting, and they are great in the movie. But I definitely think that the characters are definitely more focused on Jason and Adelaide. So I don't really have a whole lot of theories and thoughts on those two. So I'm just going to move on. So the other thing I want to discuss is the themes. The themes in this movie, which if you didn't catch it, I don't know how that's possible, but the overall glaring theme about this movie is classism, right? There are the people on the bottom, there are the people at the top, quote unquote, the privileged, the oppressed that are at the bottom, the people who are on the bottom, the same basic functions, right? They have food and water and they have all these things that they do, but they're getting all the shit versions that the people on top do. It's so blatantly classism. And, one thing that I was reading about that I didn't really catch was the escalator, right? The only thing stopping them, quote unquote, from getting to the top is an escalator that's going down. Metaphors. I think it's a huge commentary on America, on the United States. I don't think it's a coincidence that the movie is titled Us, which also is U.S., United States. I don't think anything like that is a coincidence. I don't think it's a coincidence that when they say, "Who are you?" they said, "We're Americans." I think it's a huge narrative on classism in America, kind of going into the theme of duality as well, kind of puts on a facade of like being this really great, wonderful place where everybody can flourish, but really created these class systems that keep our counterparts oppressed. Well, the other people, the wealthy, live above their means and everybody else is struggling to get by. The theme of 11:11, Jeremiah 11:11, 11:11 keeps coming up throughout the movie. That's not a coincidence that it's the mirror one and that verse of Jeremiah 11:11, which I had to look up while I was in the theater because I was like, I know this means something. Of course, one of the key things of the plot is the whole Hands Across America thing. Now, I don't know if you guys went and actually looked up Hands Across America. It was an actual real thing that happened. It happened in 1986, I believe, which was before I was born. So I went and looked it up. And it was a real campaign. It was basically a campaign that was to encourage people to, I think it was donate $10, and it was supposed to like benefit homeless people and the lower class people, blah, blah, blah. And the whole campaign was like, donate $10 and on this certain day, we're all going to stand and build a human chain. That was literally what they do in the movie at the end is what the Hands Across America did. The funny thing about that campaign, I was reading some articles and they were basically talking about how today it's kind of seen as a joke because they did raise money. They raised $30 million, but they only actually donated $15 million to the cause that they were saying. The chain only lasted 15 minutes. And if you guys remember in the movie, it only took 15 minutes for the switch between Adelaide and Red to actually happen. Once I read up about the actual campaign, I thought it was very interesting the way he incorporated it in here because the whole campaign was, again, basically a facade, right? A lot of these charities are like Red Cross and all these people who are like, we are so for the cause of creating a better society and blah, 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 blah. But then when you look at what they're actually doing, they don't really donate most of that money to the cause that they're saying they're going to, right? They're frauds. And again, I feel like the whole point of this movie is like reflection of us, all of that stuff. I just felt like the messages about classism and like duality and being fake and a fraud and putting on a face, basically, to putting on like a face to make everything seem like it's good and happy and you're doing great, but really there's all these people behind you suffering. So real quick, just to close this out because this video is already getting so long, I just wanted to end this with some questions that I had. Number one, why is Jason the only person that can control his tether and nobody else can? It's more like a theory, but can only a tether kill the person that they're tethered to? Now, the only reason I came up with this is because the second time around I watched it, I realized that only the doubles were killing their double. And I don't know, that was just a thought that popped into my head. So I was just wondering, can anybody else kill somebody that they're not tethered to? Can they do that? Because I didn't see anybody else do that. Questions. Think about it. Did they ever go to the beach before this year? I find it really hard to believe that they had never in all the years of Adelaide being a child to now gone to the beach. So I was trying to figure out, why is going to the beach such a big problem now in this year? What was it about this year that made this going to the beach so terrible? What was it? What what happened. I didn't Red leave all those years that she was down there, right? Now, somebody did say that because she was knocked out when she got dragged down there, maybe she didn't know how to get back out. But I find that really hard to believe that after all those years and being the only person who could move and talk, that she didn't explore that place and figure out how to get out. So did she just get so caught up with like, for the cause, that she was like, I'm going to stay down here and bring all these people to justice? Or could she just not get out? Because I don't understand. If some bitch came and switched me and I figured out how to get out, bitch, I'm coming back. Okay? I'm coming back and I'm killing you. Gabe kill Abe. Am I the only person who didn't really catch this? If you guys remember on the boat when Gabe is fighting with his double, he's like has him like kind of in a headlock, and then he just kind of like goes down and then he gets killed. I was very confused. At first, I thought because he had the scissor in his hand, I thought that when he went down, he kind of got stabbed like in the face. But then when I watched it the second time, I watched really carefully and that didn't happen. So I'm very confused about how that happened because it happened so fast. I cannot figure out what the fuck happened there. Somebody told me that it was the rudder or whatever that killed him, but wasn't it off? Wasn't that the whole reason why they were stranded there in the first place? And the very last thing is, who was this message for, right? Kind of like my friend actually brought this up when we were done with this movie. She was like, if everybody is dead, if they kill all the doubles, who is this hands across America message for? Kind of leads me to a second question, which is, are we to believe that this experiment only exists in America and this is for the rest of the world? Or was their plan all along just to kill all the doubles and now they're the elitists and they're gonna take over the world? What is happening here? Video is already way too damn long, so I'm just gonna go ahead and stop there. Y'all, this movie is so much fun. I love it so much. I'll probably go see it a third time, definitely before it's out of theaters. But if you haven't gone and seen it yet, first of all, why are you watching this damn video? But please go watch it because it's so good. I love it. Don't believe anybody who says it's not good. The other people who say it's not good didn't pick up on any of the stuff happening in the movie. So I really feel like people who don't say it's good are really just kind of dumb. No shade. Love this movie. Shout out to Jordan Peele for making another masterpiece. Shout out to Lupita for absolutely slaying this movie and everybody else involved in the making of this movie. I love it. I love it, love it, love it so much. Shout out to Black Excellence. Shout out to us. Go see this movie.